CTV News at 5 with Hudson Mack.
If it didn't snow where you are today, it was the wind that may have chilled you to the bone. The system that brought the snow also blew strong winds across Vancouver Island as well. Environment Canada issued wind warnings for the entire south coast today, calling for gusts of up to 100 kilometers an hour in the exposed areas across the North Island and gusts to 80 kilometers an hour for the West and East Island, all the way south to Victoria.
This low develops and it's getting quite deep. It's drawing the air up around the island up towards the low. But along the east side of the island, again, strong winds all the way down to Victoria are expected.
Strong winds hit the Greater Victoria area by midday, knocking down tree branches and bringing down power lines. The City of Victoria is asking people to batten down the hatches and to secure anything that you might have outside that could blow away during the storm, especially if there are building materials.
Secure your construction sites at the end of the day. Have an eye open for things that could easily become airborne, whether that's pylons, plywood, any equipment. And then for any homeowner out there, being sure you have an eye on where your garbage cans are. Bring them into the garage or car park if you can. Children's play equipment. It's quite surprising when gusts are up around 80 kilometers an hour, how quickly things can become airborne and into the city streets.
The autumn leaves were already coming off the trees. Today's windstorm should finish them off. City crews expect to be out in full force, keeping storm drains clear of fallen leaves to prevent flooding when the eventual rains come. The city is also reminding people to have an emergency kit handy in case the winter storm knocks out power where you are. Well, as the global Occupy movement dwindles down in Victoria, protesters in Nanaimo say they are still going strong in Diana Krall Plaza. The Occupy camp still stands in the plaza. Demonstrators there have had just a few problems with drugs and alcohol, and they say users who were not part of the movement were asked to leave. The group has been working closely with the city and with RCMP, and they say they'll leave on their own terms.
As of right now, we are staying in Diana Krall Plaza. That's not to say that we are permanently here right now. The discussion is going to start, but as of right now, we're staying and no one really has the intention to leave.
The demonstrators in Nanaimo were angry today to hear that demonstrations in other cities are being forced to shut down. A pediatric ward at the Nanaimo Regional General Hospital has an outbreak of C. difficile infection. The Vancouver Island Health Authority says a patient with C. difficile bacterium was identified inside the children's ward. Now, no children have been infected, but the incident comes just a week after pediatricians in Nanaimo went public with their concerns about overcrowding at NRGH. Doctors say pathogens of superbugs and C. difficile are among the main reasons that adults should be kept out of the pediatric unit. The Vancouver Island Health Authority says it will not turn away a sick patient.
Once people have been diagnosed with something that requires hospital care, then our obligation is to try and find them that care in the best and most safe and effective way we can. Sometimes that involves juggling resources. And if it's a choice of the lesser of two bad things, then that's the way we're going to have to go.
So far, no other patients in Nanaimo have shown signs of contracting the illness. NRGH is operating above maximum capacity. It is the only hospital on the island where adult patients are housed in a ward intended for children aged 17 or younger. The Victoria Real Estate Board is helping to fertilize a green foundation. The Real Estate Board has given a grant of $5,000 to volunteers at the Garth Homer Society to help them grow. Every Wednesday, a group of people come to the Horticulture Society of the Pacific to help restore Colquitt's Creek. They do so by planting trees, removing invasive plants, and creating walking trails. The extra money will help the volunteers to work and learn with a volunteer scientist. The scientist will also be able to help restore the soil program, and coordinators say it's a great opportunity for the group and the creek.
The grant from the Real Estate Board has been enormously helpful because obviously when you look around, some of the work is beyond their scope. So the Real Estate Board's funding helps us bring in equipment to support them in their activities, cleaning some of the drains so that what we're trying to do is make it so that salmon can come back and into the Colquitt's system and over the long term rehabilitate the whole land.
The goal is to restore the Colquitt's conservation area over the next 2 years. If you'd like to find more about the project, log on to hcp.ca and sign up. Several women have come forward with similar stories since former RCMP spokeswoman Corporal Catherine Galliford went public with her allegations of years of harassment at the hands of senior RCMP officers in this province. A former RCMP officer now living in Victoria says she also faced sexual harassment on the job for 2 decades. Krista Carley hopes the new commissioner will address the problem and says that she's optimistic that his pledge to investigate sexual harassment allegations will encourage others to speak out. Carley says it is tragic that her career ended this way, and she hopes other victims will come forward while the force honestly and impartially investigates.
The pornography and the jokes and the intimidation by senior officers and the sexual assault that I was victimized by resulted in me having to take a medical discharge from the force. It's not the way I wanted to end my career. I was wanting to be a 25-year veteran. With respect to my complaint, nothing happened. With respect to the 3 other women, he was docked a day's vacation pay. He's now in charge of VIP policing, so he's in a very high-profile job, and to me it's just an absolute travesty.
Carley is one of 4 female officers now suing the RCMP, alleging that they were assaulted by an undercover sergeant while working for him between 1994 and 1997. If advanced polls are any indication, it looks like it's going to be a good year for voter turnout in Saturday's municipal elections. The City of Victoria says it saw an increase in voters taking advantage of the advanced polls. 1,408 voters marked their X over 2 days, and that marks a 24% increase over the advanced poll in the last municipal vote in 2008, when it was just over 1,100 people who voted early. General voting in the 2011 municipal elections goes from 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. this Saturday, November 19th. Also from Nanaimo tonight, the Crown's case against Claire Beckers is complete, and her impaired and dangerous driving trial has been adjourned once again. The first part of the Crown's case was heard in September and it picked up again this week. Beckers is the Nanaimo mother charged with dangerous and impaired driving causing death and causing bodily harm. Her 2 sons were killed and her 2 daughters injured in December 2008 when she lost control of her SUV on a snowy stretch of the Island Highway in Cassidy. The Crown's case has focused on alcohol, cocaine, and antidepressants in her system at the time. The defense maintains that road conditions caused her to lose control. The case resumes later this month on November 28th. Well, Janice Hedroff took her fundraising campaign to Woodgrove Centre in Nanaimo today. She greeted customers at the Bay, where there's a special gift registry that's been set up so you can purchase household items to help stock up Dennys Place. It's going to be a home away from home for families from up and down Vancouver Island whose children are being treated at Victoria General Hospital. The $5 million to build Dennys Place is coming from community donations, but the home now needs to be furnished with furniture and dishes and other household items, and that's where the Bay has stepped up.
People can help out. They can either come down to the Bay and do the gift registration, or they can go online, do the gift registration. There's a thing they can click on for Dennys Place, and there'll be a list of items that we do need. We're looking for plates and cutlery and kitchen stuff and iPod docks and stuff for the rooms and stuff.
You can also donate your HBC points to Dennys Place at any Vancouver Island Bay location. Well, the Harbour City Rollers are asking for your help to support women and children who are in need this Christmas. The roller derby team is holding a toy drive at the Nanaimo Clippers hockey game Sunday afternoon. All of the donations will be delivered to the Haven Society in Nanaimo.
The Haven Society deals with a lot of women and children who've been through abuse and a lot of violence. Roller derby tends to be seen as a violent sport, so we want to make sure that people know that it's not all about violence, and we are trying to promote some well-being. We're looking for new unwrapped toys. We'll take cash donations or gift cards as well that we can donate to the Haven Society.
If you're not able to make it to the Clippers game on Sunday, but you still would like to contribute, you can email NanaimoRollerGirls@gmail.com to arrange a drop-off or pickup of your donation.